Hey everybody, good to see you here for episode 3, and in this episode we are going to show you a very special yacht that is currently up for sale here at Hutting Yachts in Makkum. This yacht has been to some of the most remote places in the world, and you could probably imagine yourself going to places like the Mediterranean or the Caribbean, but can you imagine yourself doing this? You take your yacht and you sail to the Arctics, and that's already quite a journey, but then you plan to stay there and you wait as the ice closes in on you, and you spend the next 8 months surrounded with nature, ice and possible visits from polar bears. Well, this yacht has done it all and is up for any challenge. We are going to show you all the ins and outs of this yacht, decisions that the owners made while building this yacht, all the intelligent features that make this yacht really unique. We've got 5 tips for you from the owner for sailing in remote areas like the Arctic. And we're going to show you a yacht that is capable of, well, going just about everywhere. So first I want to introduce you all to Margriet. She's the daughter of Tjerk Hutting, the owner of Hutting Yachts, and she's also on the Yacht Life 1 team. So can you tell us a little bit about how this project started?
Of course. The owners of the Polaris gained a lot of knowledge and experience while sailing for years in Scandinavia with their Hallberg Rassi. And all this knowledge they've put into a very big wish list of how their ideal dream yacht should look like. And with this list they came to Hutting Yachts. Hutting Yachts is experienced in constructing custom-built aluminium yachts. And together with Dick Koopmans, they designed the Hutting 54. And I think in 2005 all drawings were made, 2006 the boat was launched. And yeah, from that moment on I've been sailing around the world, literally everywhere, from Africa to Caribbean, and from the Caribbean back to the north, the area they love the most. They especially fell in love with Greenland, and their biggest highlight was just freezing the yacht into a bay and live the life of the locals there for 8 months. Really amazing.
Tip number 1. You should make sure you love being remote and by yourself, otherwise you can feel quite alone traveling to these destinations. Okay, now let's dive into the details of the yacht. So first thing we notice is the clean deck with big diamond pattern pads all over the external of the yacht, even on the roof of the pilot house. This makes sure that you have good grip whenever you walk on deck, especially in wet and icy conditions. The mast and complete rigging have just been replaced in 2020. The staysail, jib and mainsail can be all handled hydraulic, and everything is made push button. This obviously is comfortable but also safer, as you will be able to sail alone if needed. Reefing, adjusting and trimming the sails is a piece of cake. If you are sailing in the Arctic, your hull needs to be strong and reliable. The Polaris has an S-shaped hull that ensures safety and stability.
We built our boats in Sealim aluminium. It is harder than regular aluminium. You can think on the same strength a little bit like steel. So your boat must be safe also to hit something in the water. And that's absolutely necessary because you're far away from service, also from help. So it's extremely important that your boat can handle this.
As the owner of the Polaris always states, creating a yacht is nothing but compromises. You have to choose one advantage over the other. The Polaris therefore has a center board to be able to come close to the shore. Behind the cockpit and at the bow, there are 2 rolls that both hold 300 meter and 200 meters of high-tech floating line for shore fasts. The 2 rolls in the front are located in 2 massive storage lockers to hide away the dinghy, safety boat, spare anchors and other equipment. Tip number 2. Be prepared to be your own search and rescue, as in many places they are not able to reach you. So this is the cockpit. Some of you might say quite small for a 54 feet, but this makes sure that you can always hold and protect yourself while being on rough waters. And all elements are close to the position of steering, so you don't have to walk around too much, as this makes you unstable and creates unnecessary risk. This kind of front tent lets you monitor the navigational instruments while being covered and to keep the warm inside. Besides, here you can take off your wet and snowy shoes and clothes before entering the yacht. When entering the pilot house, the first thing we notice is the amount of light and spaciousness. From inside it is very easy to sail and steer safely, which is very nice when sailing in the Arctic. You won't find any sharp angles on the interior. Everything is rounded to prevent injuries in case you fall. The layout is designed so there are no dangerous open areas, and there are handles everywhere throughout the boat, so you can always hold yourself. Second thing we notice are 2 navigation tables. Definitely a nice thing to have when you're spending 12 years in a row on the water, constantly navigating and planning new trips. The first one is for during sailing and to navigate as you have a clear view on the water. The second one is for communication. Again, multiple devices, so if one fails, the other can take over. There are no shops on the Arctic. One very important instrument and highly necessary is the forward-sounding sonar, a depth sounder that scans a few meters ahead so you can detect hidden icebergs or sudden shallow waters. Tip number 3. Planning. Take more time for your journey than you would normally plan. There can be many surprises that causes your trip to not go as planned. Also, when you have more time, you will be able to select the weather and enjoy nature more. This for me is key for relaxed and enjoyable sailing. Now let's take a look at the motor. Keep it stupid simple. You need to be able to fix it yourself. For that reason, there is a strong 6-cylinder Perkins engine. This is one of the most reliable engines out there. And in case you get into trouble, every diesel mechanic can fix it. Besides, the owner has all essential parts with him, like a fuel pump. Just in case it will be broken, he can replace it himself. You have to carefully look after your engine when going to the ice. If icing develops in the exhaust system, the engine could jam and that could create serious problems, in some cases even explosion. For that reason, the Polaris has a closed, dry cooling system to prevent icing in your exhaust system. Tip number 4. More. Think about what happens if anything breaks. Do you have redundancy so something else can jump in and take over the function of the broken part? Have more of everything with you. More fuel, more food, and more spare parts. Next up, the saloon. While designing the interior, they made sure to keep it bright, considering the dark winters in the Arctic. The warmth of the teak wood combined with the fresh white that gives the room more space. All with top quality sustainable materials. The interior was made in 2006 and it still looks great. You might wonder, how do you get fresh water when frozen into the ice? Well, they use this stove to melt the snow and then they store the water in the 1,050-liter tank. And the heating system has 3 backup systems. Most important is the insulation in combination with the ventilation. When living in areas with an outside temperature of -30 and an inside temperature of +20, the differences are so big that there's a lot of condensation.
Important on board for a boat like this, that's ventilation and isolation. Because it's stayed by -35 degrees, you always have the problem with humidity. So for that reason we built a ventilation system. You can see it if the camera goes in, and that's up starboard side. The air comes in, runs below the mattresses, and this is the outlet of the air. So the ventilation also on the mattress is well enough, and it works perfect. We used in this boat 60 mm melamine-foam as isolation material. It's known from the aircraft industry. Melamine is an ideal isolation material. It's fire resistant and it's not poisoned. It's very important because if you stay long on board and you have the wrong isolation material, that can make you sick, can give really problems. But so my advice is always to take melamine-foam, and especially with a cover of aluminium ply. It has the best isolation you can imagine.
And in this master bedroom, again, many storage places. In the galley there are many options to hold on, even if the ship is heeling. Also a very interesting fact is that this oven and stove runs on paraffin instead of gas. With these cold temperatures, the gas will not be usable. Next to the paraffin, there's also an electric stove. The bathroom is nice and spacious. But how do you use the toilet when you're on a yacht that is frozen into the water? Doing it outside with minus 30 degrees isn't that comfortable, right? Well, there's a simple solution. They just use a bucket. The Polaris has got a completely new 5000 amp lithium-ion battery system, plus an alternator driven by the engine. There's also a small extra bedroom for a guest, again with many storage places. Tip number 5. Keep a good distance to icebergs and glacier walls. They may collapse and within seconds you might find yourself in hell, bombarded by ice peas and ruled by breaking waves. As you can see happening right here. Okay everybody, thanks for watching, and we would love to know if you would own a yacht like this, where would you take it? Let us know in the comments. And
If you like the video, please let us know by liking us and of course watching our next videos.
we see you the next time.
Ciao.
Ciao.